Hi, I'm Gina and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are progressing further on the project of Escape with the Catio. There's a previous video which I'll put a link in below of where I've created basically the frame or the box for the project, and in today's video we're going to be going through a couple of techniques. One is creating brickwork out of foam board, and the other one is some painting techniques to add some texture and depth to the brickwork. So hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. First up, I measure the width of all three walls, and then I go ahead and I mark the height of what the walls I want them to be. And then just cut out the three different shapes. So one shape is going to have a sliding door in it, the other one's going to have a roof pitch on it, which you can see here. It'll make more sense as it comes together. And then here I'm just cutting out the shape of the door, or the area for the door, and then I also cut out the small return wall between the two. There is a window in one of the walls which I do cut out a little bit later. Here I'm just sticking them all together. What I found was that in order to get the brickwork all lined up, it was just easier to cut that all into the foam board across the entire project. So here I'm just marking it up and then cutting it with a knife just through the top layer of the foam board, not all the way through, and then I'll go back and indent it with a different tool. It's actually a sculpting tool, and here I can cutting out the window, so you can kind of start to see how the exterior part of the building is going to look. It is all lined up like that. So I'm just I've gone through and marked out all of the horizontal lines for the brickwork, and here I'm just going through and marking actually out all the individual brickwork itself. Here's the sculpting tool that I was talking about. It's just a Sculpey small ball stylus type of tool, and I just use that and just go in and press in all those cut lines just to create a bit of texture for the brick. So I go through and do all of that, and then I also go back and do all of the individual bricks in between. It does take a little bit of time, but it's well worth it because it does give you that real brick texture, and the foam board's really easy to mould. Here I'm just going across all the sides just to make sure that the brickwork goes round the corners of the project, and because I've cut all through that top layer, it is actually quite flimsy, so I'm just going over with a coat of Mod Podge just to stick it all together, and just it also helps seal it up as well. That's my cat Loki. He just loves to come and hang out. Here I'm just going through with a grey base layer. So the idea here is that this is the grout lines in between, and with the painting technique that I'm going to use, I'm just going to dab some of the other colour over the top, but this, just doing a coat over the top with that grey, just gets in between all of the grout lines, and I don't have to go back and individually have to paint it with a small paintbrush or anything like that. So yeah, and making sure I get all around the edges of anywhere that will be seen, and there's a small piece in the view there which is going to be sort of a windowsill for the window. Here I'm just mixing up my own paint. I have a few different colours, but most of the time I actually do mix up my own colours rather than using store-bought coloured paint. Apart from the brown, I think it's probably the only one that I actually use. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing up the different colours. So I've got a bit of yellow, which is I think it's called sienna umber or something like that, as well as the orange. And what I'm trying to do here is just sort of give some depth of colour as we go through and start painting it up. And here I've just got sort of quite a light beigey colour. It's got a bit of yellow tint to it, and so I'm just using a paper towel and dabbing off most of the paint and just sort of dabbing it over so that I'm not getting right in between each of the bricks. So then the grout lines actually come out as well. So, and then all I do here is just start to layer it up, and I go backwards and forwards with the base paint, with a bit of the orange, with a bit of brown, with a bit of white, you know, just trying to add a bit more texture to it. I don't actually add any additional texture, I just use it in the paint. I just felt that the bricks were small enough on the project, so yeah, I'm just going backwards and forwards just on all of the different ones there, and you can see I'm starting to put some more white in there just to try and bring out some depth of colour in the bricks. So yeah, and then just making sure we get all around the sides as well. Here I'm just mixing up just a lighter colour. I just felt it was a bit too yellow for what I kind of had envisaged in my head, and I'm mixing up quite a peachy colour, and I'm mixing up 2 tones of it so that I can go backwards and forwards and sort of light and a bit more mid-tone, just to kind of just get that variant of colour. So here you can see it's actually quite a bit lighter than the original kind of yellowy kind of colour. And so I do go over all 3 walls and make sure I get right round the edges as well. So yeah, so hopefully you like my project, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.